Good morning. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. It is February 25th. I'm sorry. It is May 25th, and we are here at Croton Point Park to launch yet another great step forward by our Parks Department. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's a little windy, and I'm making the point that I'm at least 2 weeks overdue from a haircut. But we're here with other members who are properly coiffed for the day to launch our new bathhouse here at the Croton Point Park Beach. And we're very proud of what this represents as another step forward for our Parks Department. We were just here yesterday to launch a cricket pitch on the other side of the park, and this is an example of our friends in the Parks and Recreation Department continuing to upgrade our facilities to benefit the people of Westchester County. I'm joined by representatives of the Department of Health and the Department of Public Safety, as well as the Parks Recreation Department, so that we can talk about not just what is happening with the launch of this building here at this particular beach, but the beginning of the summer season. Most of us look at the Memorial Day weekend as the launch of the summer season, and we have a very important Memorial Day service tomorrow at Lasden Arboretum and Veteran Memorial to get the proper mindset of what Memorial Day is, but also because this is the first, considered by most, the first full weekend of the summer. We open our beaches, and we want to talk a little bit about that summertime experience, some of the things to watch out for. So that's why we've asked Dr. Sherlita Amler to join us here, who's our Commissioner of Health, talk about some of those safety tips. We've asked Sergeant Frank Pagliuca from our Department of Public Safety to talk about some of the safety measures that we need to look at, as well as Kathy O'Connor, who will talk in a few seconds. What we're launching here today is a brand new facility. It was built from the bottom up, and this is part of a $5 million capital project here at this location. The new bathhouse was constructed on top of the existing foundation, which existed from 1962, and the prior bathhouse here at this location, and there were some supplemental foundations made to support this structure. This building includes bathrooms with lockers, dressing stalls, and showers. It will house the lifeguard, the first aid, and police stations. And there are 2 family bathrooms that can provide privacy for families, for parents with children. There's also a kayak rental truck. It'll be the east end of the fence and beach, which allows easy access for those who want to get out on the Hudson River and kayak, which is also a great recreation, and but a comfortable separation from the bathing public that will be here. We want you to enjoy our beaches all throughout the course of our summertime season. We're opening this weekend Croton Point Park Beach here, and also the Glen Island Beach. It will be open for weekends only through the month of June. And then in the month of June, we'll begin with our pools, of which we have 4 major pools that the county manages, a 5th pool that's also in the county's responsibilities. We'll talk about that in just a second. The beaches will be open for the Memorial Day holiday. That will include Monday, and it'll be open on Monday from 11 a.m. to 6:30. Last entry into the park at 6 o'clock. And parking and admission fees will apply at both of these 2 locations. And we've set the date for Friday, June 23rd. We hope it'll be a June day, not a February day, when we open up Saxon Woods in White Plains, Sprain Ridge Pool in Yonkers, Tibbetts Brook Pool in Yonkers, and Wilson Woods in Mount Vernon. Wilson Woods underwent some reconstruction for some problems that we had last year. We're hoping to open it on time, and if there are any changes to that, we'll certainly let you know in the next few weeks. We also have the newly reconstructed Playland Pool that is part of Playland Management under Standard Amusement, but that has been the traditional 5th pool in our mix, and it does open this year along with the rest of the Playland operation. Our cultural heritage celebrations have returned to Kensico Dam. We had our first one this past weekend with our Polish festival, and we have a host of different ethnic festivals coming out over the next few months. I'm going to let Kathy O'Connor cover all of these things next up. So I invite our Commissioner of Parks, Recreation, Conservation, Kathy O'Connor, who's here also with the First Deputy Commissioner, Peter Tartaglia. Commissioner O'Connor.
Thank you, George. We're so excited to be here again. This is one of our most beautiful facilities. As you know, we have 18,000 acres, 50 facilities that we're responsible for. And I think the beauty of the building behind me is, as the county executive mentioned, it is brand new, but it really looks like it's been here. And it really blends into the whole aesthetic of being here at Croton Point Park. It's a collaborative effort, as always. We work closely with DPW&T, the Planning Department, and the Parks Department, of course. But I really would like to thank Peter Tartaglia, who is our First Deputy commissioner here with the Parks Department, who oversees our capital projects and has really spent a tremendous amount of time on making sure that this building is up and running on time. It was a very long process coming to this point, but we're here. I'd also like to thank Dave DeLucia, who is with the Parks Department, as well as Joe Maccarelli, who really have taken a tremendous amount of time in making sure, working closely with our contractor, Mace, who has been a fabulous department to be working with. And I'd also, yes, their attention to detail, plus their professionalism has really, really helped us get to this point. I also would like to thank our Parks group. We have our Director of Parks here, Joe Simoncini. We have our Assistant Director, Ron Anderson, who actually used to run this park, and now he's moved up to a new position. And we have our first female superintendent, Miss Sarah Kavanaugh, who she can now say under her tutelage this building was built, which I would say too. And, of course, her right-hand man, Doug Falcone, and just a whole lot of other people. John Condon is here, our Director of Concessions. There will be a food truck that will be here on a regular basis for people to enjoy getting something to eat. But this facility is fabulous. It is the only facility in Westchester County that allows people to sleep over. We have an RV section, we have a cabin section, and we have tent camping. And then we have our usual, we have the beach, obviously, behind me, and we have our picnic area, and we have a rental building that we utilize, actually, for weddings and parties and whatnot. So this Croton Point Park is full of action 24/7, and we actually so appreciate all the work, all the help. We work closely with the Department of Public Safety, certainly, and you'll hear from them shortly, and of course the Department of Health that we also work closely with. So on that note, I'd like to thank once again our County Executive, George Latimer, and the Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, because working with them has been just a pleasure, an honor, and they have been so supportive of the Parks Department over the last 5.5 years, and we've gotten more done in the last 5.5 years than we got in the last decade. So let's hear it for both the County Executive, Deputy County Executive, and finally, of course, the Board of Legislators, who we work closely with too. It's been the best relationship basically that Peter and I have had with the Board of Legislators over the last 5.5 years, and without them and without the County Executive's administration, we would not be here. So on that note, thank you very much, and have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, safe and healthy, and come and visit. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Commissioner Kathy O'Connor, Commissioner of our Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Department. Next up, we're going to have our Commissioner of Health, Dr. Sherlita Amler. She has steered us through the very difficult months that we've had over the course of the last few years, most notably the COVID pandemic. But before that, there was a hepatitis C outbreak that occurred in one of our communities, and she and her team have done an excellent job. They have an ongoing regulatory responsibility to check kitchens for sanitation and for pools. And as we head to Memorial Day weekend, there's more urgency for some of those things to get done so that different entities can open over the weekend. So it puts double time energy and effort on her department. She's going to give us some practical advice of how we should operate in the summertime, things like wear hats and sunglasses, none of which I have done, but it doesn't mean I don't appreciate her advice, even if I don't always take it. Dr. Sherlita Amler.
Thank you. Wow, I love this summer is almost here, and what a beautiful day we have today. And as we head into the Memorial Weekend, our Westchester families will spend a lot more time outdoors in our backyards, our beautiful beaches, the pools, the parks, like the one that we're in today. Unfortunately, when we're in those areas, we are not alone. The ticks and mosquitoes who like to feast on us will be right there with us too. But there are things, a lot of things that we can actually do to prevent becoming their next meal. So we're going to talk about some of those. So our best advice from public health is, first of all, cover up. Use insect repellent to keep the ticks and mosquitoes from biting you. And I keep a little kit in my car so that if I stop at a park, I have the things that I need. So First of all, I always have my off with me or whatever brand of repellent you want. And this particular one contains DEET, that's DEET, and it's to prevent, hopefully prevent the ticks from latching on. I always have a little sunblock with me, whether it's a stick or a bottle of sunblock, and you want that to have a sun blocking factor, a SPF of at least 30. And in addition to those things, I always have my tick kit with me. And that's because when you get a tick, you don't want to wear them around, and it can be difficult to get them off. So you want a pair of tweezers in here, and we'll go through all this in my remarks. But you see how nice and sharp those points are? That's because it's really important to get right up next to the head when you pull it up. You don't want to tear that off, and we'll talk about that. But you also need things like a magnifying glass so you can see it. You want something that you can put the tick into, whether it's a little plastic bag or whatever. As this one has some alcohol in it, it's got a little bag so that I can put the tick in it, and it has a little thing on how to remove a tick in case you forget how to do it. So you can order those online. Sometimes various entities will give them away. So anyway, we're going to cover up. We're going to use our insect repellent to keep the ticks and mosquitoes from biting us. And once we're outside and we're in our activity, we're going to check ourselves multiple times, whatever we're doing during the day, to make sure that we haven't got a tick on us. What you wear is also very important, and there are some fashion do's and don'ts for preventing tick and mosquito bites. I know in the summer it's hard to get the kids to wear anything but flip-flops and shorts. But these are really the wrong things to wear if you're worried about ticks and mosquitoes. And if you're in areas where there's going to be a lot of those, we would suggest different clothing. Luckily, ticks can't jump and they don't fly. They really stay very low to the ground, and so they grab onto people and pets and wildlife as we brush up against them. They're kind of hitchhikers. And that's why repellents and daily tick checks are so really important. So here are the top 3 ways to repel ticks and mosquitoes. 1, wear light colored clothing. That makes it easier to see the ticks. If you're wearing black, you're never going to see a tick on you, or at least on your clothing, until it's on your skin. In wooded areas, you want to wear long sleeve shirts and pants, and you want to tuck your pants either into your socks, or if you're wearing boots like I am today, you can tuck them into your boot, and that protects the tick from getting onto your skin. And as I just talked about, you want to use a repellent. You want to follow the label. The repellent should contain DEET, that's DEET, picardin, or IR3535. As I said, you want to do full body checks multiple times during the activity. If you see a tick, don't panic. It can take up to about 48 hours for the tick to be on your skin before some diseases can be transmitted. Now, that's not all of them, so you do want it off as fast as possible. You want to take the really sharp, pointy tweezers that I showed you. You want to grab it at the mouth parts as close to the skin as possible. You do not want to grab the body, and you do not want to grab the body and twist the tick, because if you do, you're going to break the head and the mouth parts off into the skin, and that can become infected, and it can also inject whatever's in the tick's mouth into your skin. You do want to place it into a container. If you put alcohol in there, it will kill the tick, and you want to use some kind of disinfectant to clean the wound. Ticks carry a lot of diseases. They carry Lyme disease, ehrlichiosis, anaplasmosis, all things you do not want to have. If you get a tick bite and you start having any kind of symptoms, you develop a rash or you have flu-like symptoms, you want to immediately call your healthcare provider and have a conversation with them. At home, there's a few things that you can do to keep ticks out of your yard, because there aren't just ticks at parks. We all have ticks and mosquitoes in our own yards. So you want to keep your grass cut short. You want to remove any debris that could create a moisture environment where ticks can thrive. And especially if there's areas where dense vegetation, it's good to create like a 3-foot barrier of wood chips between your lawn and the woody area. The forecast for this weekend is plenty of sun through Sunday. But remember, even on a cloudy day, the UV lights from the sun can damage your skin in as short a time as 15 minutes. That's why it's important to use a broad spectrum sunscreen with a UVA and a UVB protection with an SPF of at least 30 to protect yourself and your family from these harmful rays. You want to use it on you and your children and bring it along when you leave home, and reapply it every 2 hours, especially if you are swimming, if you towel yourself off, because you'll remove the sunblock. For added protection, wear sunglasses, a large hat, seek shade, and especially that's between the hours of 10 and 4 p.m. where the sun rays are the most dangerous to us. Remember, there is no safe way to tan. I know everybody loves a good tan, but there's no safe way to tan. A tan is really your body's way of telling you that your skin has been injured. Just a few serious sunburns in your lifetime increase your child's risk of skin cancer later in life. Skin cancer is actually the most commonly diagnosed cancer in the United States, with more than 3.5 million cases identified each year. That's a lot of cancer caused by the sun. Sunscreen is our way to protect ourselves from skin cancer. So also remember the tops of your ears, which a lot of people forget, your forehead, and most importantly, your nose. Your nose gets a lot of sun. Know your own skin. If you have any changes, whether it's a new growth, a sore that doesn't heal, or a mole that's different than it looked before, call your doctor. I myself found a mole on my body. It was on my right on my foot, and I didn't like the way it looked. I went into my dermatologist, and I had melanoma. I saved my own life, and you can save your own life. So as we head into summer, don't do the outdoor exposure. Avoid the midday sun. Apply sunscreen frequently. Cover up in light clothing when you go to hike. Wear insect repellents at dusk and dawn when mosquitoes are active. And drink a lot of water to stay hydrated. I know that's a lot of information, but it's important to keep yourself and your family healthy. And if you have any questions, you can always call us at the health department. We're always available for a conversation. Have a great summer.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Sherlita Amler, who's our Commissioner of Health. Thank you for the very practical suggestions. I saw everybody taking detailed notes for the final exam, which includes what to do with the head of a tick when you've, got it. But the final exam will come when you see the tick on you at some point in time, and you say, what did Dr. Amler tell us that day? So next up, we have Sergeant Frank Pagliuca, who is of our Department of Public Safety. And as he comes to give us some tips for safety over the course of the summer, I want to thank him and by extension, the department, the leadership of the department, Acting Commissioner Terrence Rayner, our chief inspectors, Jim Luciano and Chris Calabrese, and most recently retired Chief Inspector John Hodges. This group of men and women have done a fabulous job for us in Westchester County. They've helped keep us safe. They work closely with the local police departments, and they are the reason why, in the aggregate, why we've had an overall decrease in crime from 2017 to 2022. We should credit them and thank them for their service. Sarge, we call all of our sergeants Sarge. Sarge, please give us some of your wisdom.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good morning. I was asked to come here this morning to speak to you a little bit about the additional safety measures that we take in the parks every summer. When the summertime comes, and again, we consider our summertime starting today, we increase our patrols out in the parks by not only having extra patrols out there and officers, but we also hire park rangers. Our park rangers basically become our eyes and ears and are out there to provide safety and security for the public. And what we ask is that the public know that they can go out to them for anything they need, any kind of safety concerns that they have, and they will be related right to the police departments. All right. We urge anyone with those concerns to contact the rangers or any parks employees so we can handle them. We're familiar with the saying, if you see something, say something. That goes for every park out there. If something doesn't look right, we want to know about it. Don't just say, we can leave it for later and somebody else will find it. That's about the worst thing we can do in today's society. So we want to know if something doesn't look right, we want to know it right away so we can handle the situations. All right, that's inside, around, anywhere. Don't hesitate to call us. We'll be there, or one of our partner agencies will be there. Over the Memorial Day weekend, we see an increased amount of traffic on our parkways. We have an increased amount of patrols. We have DWI patrols out there. We have seatbelt patrols out there, and those are all for the safety of the public. Knowing that when people come into the parks, when they see our officers, our rangers, they feel that additional sense of security, and they don't stop and go, oh my God, what's going on here? They know that we're out here because we're here for them and we're here for you. We also have coverages on the water. All right, we like everybody to know that when you're out on the water, to take those extra safety precautions. Make sure that your vessel is seaworthy. Make sure that you have all of your flotation devices and safety equipment on board, because they do random checks out there. Our Marine unit will be out there in the bay outside here, right on the Hudson River, out on the Long Island Sound. They're out there for the safety and security of all the boating public. So we want everybody to know that. In addition to the extra officers, like I said before, we have rangers in 13 of our parks, and our major parks here at Croton Point Park, Croton Gorge, Tibbetsbrook Park, and many others. All right, they are there for you. They're not only they're working for us, and that is in conjunction and cooperation with the Parks Department and the County Executive's Office that allows us to hire the additional people, because we could not possibly do it without them. All right, they are an intricate part of the success of our program in the parks every year. So we like to acknowledge them and let everybody know that they are out there for the parks, for us, and for you. And that's all I have to say.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, Sarge. I also want to point out, for those of you who are at least 10 years younger than I am, up to about 50 years younger, you probably know how to use a smartphone. I kind of do, but not really. But we do have an app now that can connect you to the Westchester County Department of Public Safety. It was one of the recommendations that came out of our efforts in police programming and reform. And for those who have smartphones, they should download that app, have it available. It gives them an instantaneous connection to the Department of Public Safety. And that's an essential situation where every minute might matter. As he said very accurately, if you see something, say something, and make that connection as well. Thank you again, Sarge, and on behalf of the department. I want to make sure I recognize William Bland, who's here with our Recreation Department. He has done an outstanding job of coordinating many of these efforts. We were here yesterday for a press conference on the cricket pitch. Sarah, we have a daily press conference, just so you know. Tomorrow we'll come up with some other topic. But Bill has done an outstanding job, and I want to make sure he gets recognition for the work that he's done. Westchester County, not under any one particular administration, has made a tremendous commitment to parks and recreation all across this county. And the accomplishments are the accomplishments of county executives and boards of legislators stretching back well over 50 years. My predecessors, Andy Spano, Andy O'Rourke, Al Del Bello, Ed McCallion, and beyond, and the members of the Board of Legislators have piece by piece by piece accumulated this system as we see it today. Croton Point Park once was where we dumped our garbage. Hard to remember that. Those of us of a certain age have lived here long enough remember what was here and what was brought in here every day. But the fact that there's a commitment, 6 golf courses, 6 nature centers, 2 beaches, 4 pools, a host of other different recreation, opening up monuments that remember on 9/11, those we lost on 9/11 and those we've lost from 9/11 illnesses, recognizing individuals in certain locations, mountain biking in 2 locations. This is a tremendous commitment to the people of Westchester that they are able to enjoy this beautiful county. We've been given, through no talent of our own, a physical piece of land that is beautiful. We're next to a historic river. The Long Island Sound on the other side of the county is tremendous. We have a reservoir system in the central middle of the county that creates lake-like effects wherever we drive. And we are fortunate to have those advantages. And with the parks and recreation that we have and what we hope to do to protect those and amplify those parks, we want to make sure that they're there, not for any glory of accomplishment, but so that the people of Westchester County can be served, that people can come to this park, use this bathhouse, and be on that beach, and on a hot summer's day, cool themselves off. And to do that without needing a membership in an elite beach and tennis club, that you can do it as a member of the public here in a public setting. So we're very happy to be able to have that today, another step forward for all of us, and I'm grateful for all of the professionals behind me that make this possible. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thank you, and please join us at one of our parks this weekend and in the weekends to come. Have a good day.